Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep on AI and cloud computing, specifically how it's changing things for developers.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and we've got some really interesting insights from a Korean YouTube channel called Andoguma Kaksena.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that channel. It's got some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so let's dive right in. What's got you most excited about this, where AI and cloud computing are sort of intersecting?
Well, one thing that's really caught my eye is this open source AI model called DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, okay.
Yeah, it's making waves because it's so powerful. And here's the really interesting part.
Okay.
AWS is getting on board with it.
AWS. Now, that's a big name, right? I mean, they're the 800-pound gorilla in cloud computing.
Exactly. And
Led by Andy Jassy, he's a visionary.
oh, yeah, for sure.
In the tech world, they've been a driving force in making cloud computing accessible to everyone. But this move with DeepSeek, it feels like they're making a statement.
It is a statement. See, AWS isn't just about giving you servers and storage.
Right.
They want to build a whole ecosystem of AI and Jassy. He's always said no one AI model can do it all.
Right.
You need a platform where different models work together, kind of like a dream team of AI.
So it's not just about DeepSeek, it's about giving developers access to a whole range of tools.
Yeah, like a toolbox full of all the best AI models ready for you to use.
I like that. And that's where Amazon Bedrock comes in, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, Amazon Bedrock. Now, that sounds familiar, but give me a quick refresher.
Sure. So Bedrock is basically how AWS is giving you access to all these AI models, DeepSeek, over 100 others, all through these easy-to-use APIs.
APIs, okay.
It's kind of like what OpenAI did with its GPT model.
Right, making it accessible to everyone.
Exactly, without everyone having to build their own models from scratch.
Right, right. So Bedrock is like this master key, unlocks all these amazing AI tools.
Precisely. And to showcase all of this, AWS is holding this awesome event,
Okay.
the AWS Innovate Conference, all about generative AI and data.
Generative AI, that's the hot topic right now?
Oh, absolutely. And they're going to be showing you how to use this stuff to actually make your business better.
Okay, interesting. Any speakers we should be looking out for?
Yeah, Yun Seop-chan is going to be there. He's a big name in the AWS world.
Okay, great.
And it's not just going to be people talking. It's going to be hand-on, showing you how to solve real problems.
So learning by doing, I like that.
Yes, exactly. And they're going to be showcasing some pretty cool technologies.
Okay, like what are some of the key technologies they're going to be highlighting?
Well, there's a bunch, but the big ones are Amazon SageMaker. We'll get into that in a bit.
Okay.
Amazon Bedrock, which we just talked about. And then there's the whole Amazon Q family of services. Lots to talk about.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's start with Amazon SageMaker then. A lot of companies, especially if they're new to AI,
Right.
they struggle with how complicated machine learning can be, right? It's like, how does SageMaker make that easier?
It's all about making it simple. Imagine a single platform where you can prior your data, train your model, and then deploy it. All in one place. Huge time saver.
So it's taking care of all that kind of like nitty-gritty stuff so developers can focus on, I guess, the creative side.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
Right, the fun stuff. That's what we want to be doing.
Exactly. And they've just expanded it too, adding data analysis, generative AI,
Oh, wow.
even this unified studio, so your whole team can work together.
Okay, so SageMaker's like this, I don't know, this powerhouse for building AI projects.
Absolutely.
Pretty impressive. Okay, let's go back to Bedrock for a minute. We know it gives you access to pre-trained models.
Right.
But what makes it different? What makes it special?
Well, one of the coolest things is that you can actually customize the models with your own data.
Wait, so you can tailor these models to your specific needs?
Exactly.
That seems like a huge advantage because a lot of companies I talk to, they worry that these generic AI models
Right.
just won't be a good fit for what they do.
And you're right. But with Bedrock, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You can fine-tune it with your own data, making it work perfectly for you.
So that's a game changer, really. Okay, so we've talked SageMaker, we've talked Bedrock. Now, what about this Amazon Q?
Oh, yeah. So Amazon Q, it's actually two different services.
Okay.
Amazon Q Business and Amazon Q Develop.
Two sides of the same coin, huh?
You could say that, yeah. So Q Business, that's for companies who want to build their own chatbots.
Okay.
But without all the complicated stuff, it connects to your company data, uses generative AI.
So it makes it easy to build chatbots.
Super easy.
All right, and what about Q Developer? Is that like a special chatbot just for developers?
Not quite. It's actually much bigger than that. Q Developer is like AWS's answer to all the challenges developers face.
Okay,
It's like having this super smart coding assistant.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it can help you write code, write documentation, do testing, check for security issues. It can even help you update old code.
Seriously. It can update old code. I mean, that's the holy grail for so many companies, right?
I know, right? It really shows you how powerful AI is becoming.
It is. It's mind-blowing. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm clear on this AWS Innovate conference. We've been talking about it a lot. When is it exactly? How often is it being offered that day?
It's happening on Thursday, March 6th, and they're running the whole conference 3 times that day so that everyone can attend.
Oh, wow, that's thoughtful of them.
It's completely free, and you can join from anywhere in the world.
So really, there's no excuse not to check it out, right? If you're even a little bit curious about how AI and data can change your business.
Absolutely. It's a chance to learn from the best, see what the future holds.
Okay, so speaking of the future, I want to get your take on something. Given everything we've talked about so far, what skills, what knowledge do you think businesses really need to focus on to thrive in this, this new world of AI?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, what's clear is that AI and cloud computing are not going away. They're becoming the foundation of how businesses work. So to succeed, businesses need to. Businesses need to think differently, It's not just about adding new tech. It's about really integrating it into everything they do.
So it's like a whole new way of thinking. Okay, so how do we do that? What skills should companies be focusing on?
Well, skills that used to be just for the tech people, those are becoming important for everyone.
Right.
You need people who can use AI tools, sure, but you also need people who understand how it all works, the potential, the problems, even the ethics.
Right.
It's about bridging that gap between tech and the business side.
So it's like a mix of tech skills, business skills, and even a bit of philosophy. I mean, AI does raise some big questions.
You got it. We can't just throw AI at everything without thinking about the consequences, right?
Right. It's powerful stuff.
It is.
And it's changing everything so fast.
It really is. I mean, think about what we've talked about today. Open source AI, platforms like Bedrock, the AWS Innovate conference.
Yeah, it's like we're watching this revolution happen.
We are. It's amazing, but it can be overwhelming for some businesses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what advice would you give to those companies, the ones who are struggling to keep up?
I would say start with your goals. What are you trying to achieve? What are your biggest problems?
Okay.
Once you know that, then you can see how AI and cloud computing can help you get there.
So don't get distracted by all the hype. Just focus on what you need to do.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment, Start small, try things out.
Okay.
The great thing about cloud computing is you can scale up as you go.
Right. Dip your toes in the water before you jump in the deep end.
Exactly.
Now, what about, getting help? Are there resources, communities where businesses can go for guidance?
Oh, tons. AWS has a ton of resources. Their website is a great place to start.
Okay.
Free training, documentation, all that stuff. There's also tons of online forums, meetups, conferences,
Right. So connect with other people, learn from each other.
Exactly. We're all in this together, right?
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about individual developers, people who are just starting out in this field?
Oh, great question. I would say start with the basics.
The basics. Okay, so those are still important even with all this fancy new tech.
More than ever, you need to understand algorithms, data structures, programming languages.
Okay.
Python is super popular for AI, so that's a good one to learn.
Okay.
Once you have those fundamentals, then you can get into more specialized stuff like machine learning.
Right, right. And are there specific courses or platforms you'd recommend?
Oh, yeah. Coursera, Udacity, those are great for online learning. AWS also has its own certification programs. Those are really valuable.
Okay, so it's really about investing in your education, staying up to date.
Totally. And don't forget hands-on experience, build things, work on projects.
Right, like learning to ride a bike.
Exactly. You can't just read the manual. You got to get out there and try it.
You got it. Okay, so we've talked about SageMaker and Bedrock in depth, but let's dive back into Amazon Q for a minute. Let's explore those AI-powered chatbots and coding assistants.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Q Business is for companies that want to build chatbots. But what does that look like in the real world?
Okay, so imagine a chatbot that can answer your customers' questions, track orders, even help with returns.
Okay.
Or a chatbot for your employees, for HR stuff, answering questions about benefits, scheduling meetings.
So it's all about automating those routine tasks.
Yes, and since it uses your company data, those chatbots can be super personalized.
And that personalization is important, right? Nobody wants to talk to a robot that feels generic.
Exactly. And the best part is you don't need to know how to code to build these chatbots.
Really, no coding, so anyone can build a chatbot.
Pretty much. It's really easy to use, and since it's built on AWS, it's super secure and reliable.
Okay, that's impressive. Now, what about Q Developer? We talked about it being like a coding assistant.
Right? It's like having a really smart partner helping you write better code faster.
So it's not about replacing human developers, it's about making them better.
Absolutely. It takes care of the boring stuff so you can focus on the creative parts of coding.
Right. Can you give us some examples of how it helps with, everyday coding problems?
Sure. Let's say you need to write a function. Instead of writing all the code yourself, you can just describe what you want to Q Developer.
Really? You could just describe it?
Yeah. And it will generate the code for you.
That's amazing. Okay, so it can write code for you. What else can it do?
It can also help you understand code that's already written. It can spot errors, even suggest ways to make it better.
Okay.
It can even help you find security vulnerabilities and fix them. And it can help you update that old code.
So it really is like having a whole team of senior developers helping you.
It really is. And the best part is it's always learning and improving.
So the more people use it, the better it gets.
Exactly.
Now, we can't talk about all this without mentioning AWS, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're the ones making this all possible.
Absolutely. AWS has done so much to make AI and machine learning accessible to everyone.
Right.
They've created this incredible platform, and they're constantly pushing the boundaries.
It's like a playground for innovation.
It really is. And who knows what the future holds, right?
I know. It's exciting. Okay, well, sadly, that's all the time we have for this part of our deep dive, but we'll be back soon to wrap things up, explore these technologies even further, and discuss what it all means for the future. Stay tuned. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into AI, cloud computing, and all the amazing tools that AWS is bringing to developers. You know, it's really been fascinating to see how these technologies are evolving.
It has. And you know what strikes me? How accessible it's all becoming.
Yeah, it's not just for the big players anymore, right?
Exactly. Startups, small businesses, even individuals, they can all get in on the action now.
It's really democratizing things, isn't it?
It is. It's leveling the playing field, giving everyone a chance to innovate.
It's pretty exciting. But with all this power comes, some big questions
Oh, yeah, for sure.
about the impact on society, right? Like, how's this all going to shape the world we live in?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think the potential is huge, both good and bad.
Right, right. So, on the positive side, how do you see AI making a difference?
Well, think about it. We could use AI to tackle some of the world's biggest problems, like climate change, disease.
Right, things that have seemed impossible to solve.
Exactly. AI could be the key.
Okay, so that's the hopeful side. But what about the potential downsides? What worries you?
Well, job displacement is a big one. As AI gets smarter, it's going to automate a lot of jobs.
Right, that's a valid concern.
And then there's algorithmic bias, making sure these systems are fair to everyone.
Yeah, we don't want to create new problems while trying to solve old ones.
Exactly. And of course, there's the risk of misuse, people using AI for harmful purposes.
It's a lot to think about, for sure. But we can't just ignore these issues, right?
Absolutely not. We need to be aware of the risks and have open conversations about how to manage them.
So responsible development, ethical considerations.
Yeah, it's all part of the equation. It's about making sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Right. Okay, well, before we wrap things up completely, I want to mention the AWS Innovate Conference one more time. It's such a great opportunity to learn more about all this.
Oh, definitely.
Can you remind everyone when it's happening and how they can join?
Sure. It's on Thursday, March 6th. It's free, online, and they're running it 3 times that day to accommodate different time zones.
Wow, that's really go to the extra mile.
They are, so no matter where you are, you can join. We'll be sure to include the registration link in the show notes.
Awesome. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical details of AWS services to the broader impact of AI on society.
It's been a great conversation.
It really has. I hope this has inspired you to explore these technologies further, to learn more, to think about how you can use them to make a difference.
I hope so, too.
Because the future is, well, it's being written right now, and we all have a role to play. So keep learning, keep experimenting, keep pushing the boundaries. And until next time, happy coding, everyone.